string. Still my guitar gently weeps.
Welcome to the second hour of Authentic News right here on RBN Live this 17th day of April 2025, where we take your calls. First up, Layla from Canada. Welcome back, Layla.
Yeah, hi, Jim. That was an amazing first hour. I have to say that I think this stresses or reinforces my fears that Israel is preparing for something devastating, and America, the rest of the world, will not be spared. I mean, just what is going to circulate within the air throughout the entire planet after they bomb that. They're going to use their nukes. They're just... They don't think they're the chosen people. They think they are God. And that's what's so frightening to me. And it should be, I think a lot of people are recognizing that fear. And the problem is that Trump is assisting them in every way that he can. Now, what control do the people have over Trump? Who does he serve? Who does he work for? Whose president is he? I don't know. I don't know what to say.
He's Bibi's president. I don't think it's a mystery, Layla. He's president for Israel. He said he would be the best president Israel ever had. We all thought he meant that he would just be very favorable to Israel. We didn't mean that he would subplace his responsibilities to the United States with assuming duties and obligations to Israel, putting Israel first. After he campaigned on putting America first, he's contradicted virtually all of his major foreign policy campaigns in very blatant fashion. I have been dumbfounded.
I confess that I'm not dumbfounded. I'm just terrified. I mean, I never really... I mean, I've lived my whole life watching the world worshiping a satanic cult. That's what Zionism always has been, a satanic cult. And everyone has been enthralled by it not everyone, too many people have been enthralled by it for too long. And it's an illegitimate, it's a gang. It's a gang that has taken over territory and wants to increase its territory. And the problem is that gang has also taken over the U.S., and Canada, and for a long time a lot of Europe, and I still assert that it was they who designed and executed the Holocaust, whatever of it that occurred. They recruited people, cannon fodder. You Jews who you talk about, your relatives or ancestors who were killed, they were killed by Zionists because the Zionists are not Jews. They are Satanists. And they have picked you, unfortunately, because of the belief in the Old Testament, they have chosen that as their smokescreen to silence people or to put people into a state of reverence and mesmerize them with the idea that they are speaking on behalf of God. But they want to portray themselves. They have now become victims of their own propaganda. They actually believe they are God. They are so satanic that they think they are the Satan that should have been God to begin with. People, wake up, whether it's just the RBN audience or whoever you are. Speak to others. You've got to do something to save the planet itself is going to be polluted, never mind destroyed. Even if they just capture the region and destroy everybody there and torment and sadistically torture them, that is almost irrelevant. Write them off. They're pretty well dead. Save yourselves. Save the rest of save the future. And on a final note, I was disgusted. From the very beginning, I knew that JP was a Zionist. At the very end of one show, he said, Islam and Allah can suck my CLCK. That was a long time ago.
No.
Yes. I can, if you want, I can find it for you. You didn't hear it. He did it at the very end. He did it at the very end of the show as it was ending. I will try to find it for you. I will try to find it in the archive.
That is just
I know it was despicable. And yet you have tolerated it. He has been talking through both sides of his mouth. What he did yesterday to Alexander, ridiculing him, Alexander probably speaks 3 languages. That indicates a level of intellect that is higher than that of crummy JP, who probably only speaks Zionism, which is in itself a language. It's a state of mind. It's a state of evil. And then it was also JP that incited you. You were busy. I mean, I know when you're a host of a show, you've got a lot of things that are distracting you. You did not.
Boy,
realize
your reception has been.
He was.
Your reception has been garbled, Layla. Just slow down. Your reception has been garbled. Try again. Say it again. Say it again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, JP. What JP did you hear what I complained? Can you hear me now?
Layla, I think you're all being scrambled. No, call back in. Call back in. I only have one other caller at the moment, which is Reb, but I want you to call back in. Call back in. Meanwhile, I'll put on Reb. And, I don't see them. Their name's not posted.
I'm here. Bubba Scout Reb's here. Here.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Scout. Go ahead.
It's Bubba Scout Reb. I'm just telling you, we heard it all. Oh, yeah, the Pope has 2 horns on his head. The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, they're doing it all. They put Washington, D.C. between Virginia and Maryland because of the Virgin Mary, and they run the Yids, and they brought the darkies in here with the Yids to teach the Guineas how to murder the white. That doesn't do us any good. And I don't understand that one, Flamboyant Florida. He's ranting and he's the object of discrimination and oppression, and his relatives all fought for the war for America. He never served in the military, but his relatives, well, they didn't do him a lick of good. The place got took over. So what are you going to do about it? And she just said it, Mrs. Leher. Yeah, the world's screwed up. They won't be when we roll. It's the law. I don't have an opinion. Get it through your heads, jerks. I do not have an opinion. I'm signed to the United States of America government under law to prosecute and get rid of the scum, the whole bunch of them. And you don't like it. And everyone should be calling every broadcaster on this network. They won't let you on most other networks. And you tell them, what the hell are you censoring on keeping Bubba Scout Reb out of the picture, you jerks? Tell them who they are. They're going to hell. You obstruct for us. Yeah, we don't care who gets dead over this. If you're an obstructionist on this topic, you burn in hell because we're the wrath of the Almighty. We don't believe Bubba's the god of war. We're telling you. We're not asking you. We signed to they've cut off the line right now to the Office Secretary of Defense because they're getting calls. I'm getting around to other places. 703-692-7100. It won't work. This is the first time ever that bastard from Fox News took over, and he was put there by Fox News to screw America and the white race. So Mr. Flamboyant Florida, he gets heard on every show. We'll call back in. We'll talk to you for another half hour. Spew all you want because he don't do a damn thing. And he should be mad. And he should be. So those deadbeats on welfare, Bubba Scout Reb, they're not doing anything. We're assigned to the top of the U.S. government. And we have only one purpose, prosecute the enemy. Once these bastards are dead, it's over. You're worried about the Arabian Peninsula? Screw it. They're going to be dropping dead of heart attacks when we get rid of the United Nations bastards here. They'll know what's coming. It'll hit them like a ton of bricks. They're through. The scum are dead. So we don't even care. We don't even use the J word because it gives them power. That's why we say they bring you over the darky yids to train these ball race skinnies of 911 to murder the white race. I talk to the military. I don't spare words with them because we're a military jurisdiction. And to a lot of these white boys, we had to join up. We were getting arrested. We were getting attacked for nothing. This is happening all over America. Where do you hear about it? They don't know what to do about it. We got evidence. We took it to the Defense Intelligence Agency. They took it to JAG and the Joint Chiefs. It's war. We suffered an act of war. And who stood up to them? 2 XX chromosome Me Too females. I hate men. I don't want Y chromosomes around us. Bubba's going to do the talking. She's double X, Scout's double X. I'll tell her that she'll interfere with the military. I don't like the military. We like firepower. We know where the targets are. They're going to die. So Mrs. Layer, and she's worried. Relax, lady. Get over yourself. As soon as she's worried, oh, look what they're doing. They're evil. They're no. Give it a rest, lady. You said it. Or what? So one of these women called us, men are no good. Damn right. So go with that, you jerks. Go with Bubba, the God of War. Double X all the way. Double X Scouty. They stood up to him. Men bend over and open wide when they're attacked. They're cowards and scum. And we know where these hosts are, RBN. You ain't hiding from us, scum. We're going after you. Yeah. You're obstructing us. Burn in hell. That's where you're headed. Because everybody gets what they want. You get to serve your devil in hell, you scum. And us three will get to live good on our planet. Because you don't belong here. You're either with... That's what President Bush 43, who wrote us 3 times from Crawford, Texas, Laura Bush, Georgia, it said, you're outstanding. Because it's his... He signed the law 17 October 2006. He didn't need somebody to tell him, yeah, the white race is under attack. But we couldn't get through. The Secret Service, they're not your buddies. They covered it up. We never got through to Bush Cheney. This is on official documents of Joint Chiefs. That's how he wrote to us, or he wouldn't know us from anybody. Couldn't get through. And so these last 16 years, this was in 2008. We'd have done this years ago. None of this crap be happening. You think the years are going to get in our way? Go for it. Make our day. So don't worry about them. We don't even recognize them. The Arabian Peninsula is why I got cut out of programs. Sorry, white boy, you can't be part of this program anymore. It's for refugees from the Arabian Peninsula in Africa. Get our name out, you jerks. Don't shut up. Call all the radio hosts, especially Mr. Flamboy in Florida, because he never gets cut off. Well, come back another half hour. We'll hold you over. Say some more spew. And tell us about how your relatives fought for America. They didn't do you any good. Your relatives suck. They left this for you. They can burn in hell.
Give us your final thoughts, Reb. Give us your final thought for the...
Everybody who thinks the not-so-great generation did them a favor, I say screw them. They're burning in hell. They left this mess for us. And us as the United States of America government, first state of Colorado, we'll take it on. We'll get these bastards all dead. Firepower, white power, all the way. We're bringing it, and we're going to get them. Bubba Scout Rebel, or we win more. Call every host on Republic. Give them hell. Bubba Scout Rebel. Never shut up.
Thanks, Bubba. Rick in Arizona. Rick, join the conversation.
Yeah, go get him, Bubba. I got a comment to make, and I've just learned this in the last 24 hours. And I'm starting to think that Donald Trump, when he appointed Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General, he knew he was never going to be the Attorney General. Okay? There's all sorts of games being played. I just found out that it was Pam Bondi who appointed the special prosecutor to go after George Zimmerman in the Trayvon Martin debacle. That fraud.
Remind me about... I mean, it's just been a while since I thought about it. Give us a sketch about Zimmerman and the Trayvon. Zimmerman was the cop, right?
Zimmerman was the security guard on the beat.
Go ahead.
And he got
remind
with Trayvon Martin.
Give us a sketch of the Trayvon case, just for our refresher.
Well, the Trayvon case was this. Trayvon was in a neighborhood where he was up to suspicious activity, so he was approached by Zimmerman. They got into it. Trayvon had him on the ground, beating his brains out, and Zimmerman pulled out his gun and killed him. And the cops immediately looked at it, and they said, okay, this was self-defense. And that was it. But then
why would anyone have any doubt? Why would anyone have any doubt?
Well, there really wasn't any doubt because they had plenty of testimony from the local people that were there. But then Sharpton shows up. and he demands an arrest.
Al.
Pam Bondi, she caved in and started Black Lives Matter. Now, today, she's out there making America great again by saying that this Garcia guy is not coming back to the United States, even after the Supreme Court said 9-0 to bring him back. She's starting trouble.
Yeah, it's not good.
People are, these people that you think are so great or have thought, these are the Frankfurt School aficionados. Okay? You got to remember, when Trump was president the first time, we had the Black Lives Matter eruption. We had we had Derek Chauvin go down in flames. This all happened under Trump. Okay? Where's Tom telling us all about Pam Bondi? He's a big Florida know-it-all. You know? I still say that all this crap that's been going on a year and a half before the election, was all Frankfurt School crap. Letitia James, who lives in Brooklyn, but she's the New York State's attorney, starts charging him with crimes. That's all fake, Mr. Fetzer. They did this to rebrand Trump as the underdog. Trump is the Frankfurt School. That's, in my opinion. He's the Frankfurt School. He's not. Republicans don't throw tariffs on other countries. Okay? They were always the free traders. He's a Democrat. That's what Trump really is. And he's gonna bum us out with some serious gun control in this term. You just watch. He's got all of these schmucks from the Midwest surrounding him, like the governor of North Dakota, Kristi Noem, South Dakota, Thune from South Dakota, that whip in the Senate from Wyoming. Why are all these nobodies around the Trump administration? Because these are the people that he's going to need to get his 50-state red flag law through, and it's coming. There's going to be some high body count shenanigans going on, and don't buy into it, because Trump's going to bum us out with more gun control. He's already doing it with the First Amendment. He's got to get around to the Second Amendment. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, yeah, Rick, I liked it. Layla, I'm glad you're back. Join the conversation. We'll hit a bump. I'll carry you over. Layla.
I also wanted one other thing. I think that was Rick from Arizona. I wanted to add that Trump is already talking about he's going to do a third term. He's going to throw away the entire Constitution. He considers himself king. He is the king. He is the Messiah in his eyes. In his own eyes, he is God. While the Zionists are feeding him all, they're using him, and they're feeding him. They're feeding his ego all the flattery that he needs. So I believe that was Rick earlier. He's very aware, very astute.
It was Rick from Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite very astute.
I thought this third term stuff was just sort of a figure of speech. No, I didn't think there's anything real about it.
Don't ever think that he just says things. He means it. He considers, when he was doing the Republican National Convention speech that I asked people to listen to, he also refers to himself as we. When someone said that, I can't remember who it was, somebody probably on one of the Napolitano interviews, said that he's suffering from the kind of mania that King George III suffered. The concept that I can do whatever I want. I have the divine right.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back after this break.
Picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been. Lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it? Here comes the sun, I say it's all right.
Go ahead, Layla.
Yeah, I've also seen videos of Trump worshiping Schneerson with the other Chabad members.
Yeah.
He is deeply in there. But when I refer to Trump's references to a third term, he is serious. And when he was talking, when he talks about himself, rather than use the subjective case, I, he always says we. He's not talking about the collective we, the gang around him. He's talking about himself as the royal, the regal we, the monarch. The man is psychotic. He's not merely a narcissistic maniac. He is psychotic. And America is in trouble. And that's exactly what the Israelis, the Zionists, gangsters want. They want it. They probably turned him into what he is. They probably worked on him for decades. He's not smart enough. Why do you think his parents sent him to a military school? To teach him a little bit of discipline. He was lousy in school. He was disruptive. He was misbehaving. And so they sent him to a military school where he learned a little bit of behavior, but he didn't bother to serve in the military. God forbid he should actually go with the common grunt. He's the royal we, the regal king. But anyway, back to JP. His insults to other callers is unacceptable. It is, I mean, he's the one who was talking to you about Peter and defaming Peter, ridiculing Peter. I mean, you didn't catch it because you were obviously busy. So he's the one that I didn't use his name, but I said I was offended. I know what JP does. He wants to kill off anybody who's defending Palestine or criticizing the Zionists. Peter is one of the most effective. Alexander is becoming very effective. And that is why he ridiculed Alexander, who was merely showing you respect when he called you sir.
Yes.
And he ridicules that. That is a respectful term. That means that Alexander is raised in other cultures where they respect people and they speak a different language. So he speaks French because he lives in Quebec, I believe. He speaks English, probably better understanding of English, whether or not he can articulate it easily. But he speaks a third language minimum and probably even more. And JP is ridiculing him all because he was defending Palestine. I have to tell you, they tried to get me. They tried to get me to join in their anti-Muslim gang because I was at one time very respected by the local Muslims. I was interested in seeing how much they had infiltrated the Muslims because I could see that here in the community where I am, there is a very large Muslim community that was becoming very solidified and very effective politically. So I could see that there were a couple of instigators that had been planted. So I started going to the Jewish Community Center, getting friendly with all of them. And I overheard them saying they had people inside the Muslim community. That's what they do. What they did was they tried to get me to insult and defame Islam. They recruit people. That's their whole thing because that whole region is full of Muslims. They killed off all of us Christians. We Christians, instead of fighting, we left, waiting, assuming that sanity and legality would be restored. The British were bamboozled. Lord Curzon, who should have been in the position of Balfour, objected. I sent you a copy of his memorandum saying that the language in the Balfour Declaration is not legal for establishing a homeland. Just read about Lord Curzon. I mean, he was the Viscount of India. He was highly regarded and respected. But Balfour managed to get into the department, and I wonder who got Balfour into that position and sidelined Curzon when it should have been. So Curzon came in after Balfour, and he tried to stop the mandate from being given to the British, because that's what the British did. They first took over the mandate when they should not have, because Mesopotamia, there were three mandates. There was Mesopotamia, Syria, and Palestine. Syria was given to the French, and the French divided it into Lebanon and Syria. Mesopotamia was made into Iraq. Palestine, the British took it when it was supposed to be an independent nation. because it was ready for self-governance, because the British had the mandate long enough that they had instituted a lot of Western-style institutions. And so they prepared it for self-government. They were then supposed to hand it over to the Palestinians, who were already, even before that, ready for self-government. But the Zionists persuaded them to take over the mandate. And while the British were governing the mandate and preparing the Palestinians to practice under a British system of government, the Zionists came in and got rid of them. They had their illegal militia. That's when they became terrorists to the British.
Layla, wait,
So
hang on. I'll give you a
legal
final
country.
thought. I'll give you
It
a
should
final
never.
thought. Stand by. We'll give you a final thought.
Joker, he just do what he please.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Holy roller, he got hair down to his knee. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please.
Layla, your final thoughts.
My final thought is that you have to recognize that Israel is not a legitimate country. It is a territory of gangsters. And the Jews, there are legitimate Jews. There is a legitimate Jewish religion, the original religion, before it was distorted by the Zionists, who also distorted Christianity. You've also got to recognize that they have completely revised a lot of the teachings of Christianity, and that's why Christians have fallen away, because it hasn't fed their spirit, it hasn't fulfilled their faith. Even when they simply use the Yeshua, use the Greek Isus. That's how the Greeks would pronounce Jesus' name, Isus. Yeshua is the Yiddish word for Jesus. They've even got Christians, good Christians, calling Jesus Yeshua or Yeshu, which is wrong. In the Aramaic, it was Isu. I mean, my father was named Isa. That was the name. But anyway, the point is they've distorted everything. They take everything, they distort it, and whatever is admirable, they put their label on it and say that was ours. This is ours. That's why they took over our theology. That's why everything. They've taken over America. They've taken over the pride of the world, the pride of civilization, what America rose to. They grabbed it at its height and they have perverted it. They have perverted your nation. They started with Woodrow Wilson, first of all, by bribing him, blackmailing him, and then putting him into a coma, or perhaps putting him into a cage, and one of them letting Louis Brandeis run the country. Louis Brandeis was so corrupt, and Felix Frankfurter along with him. That was his stooge. I've got books I can send you, Jim. 2 books, because I always buy extra of everything when they were available, because they won't be available now. If you want, I can send you the books. I'll pay the cost of mailing them there.
You're a dear.
But that's how long they have captured your presidents and your entire institutions.
Layla, you're
I should
wonderful.
let you go.
I so value your calls.
Jim.
Thank you so very much. Wonderful. Tom and
Jim,
Florida,
you're the one.
Tom, thank you, Layla. Tom, go ahead with all your thoughts today.
Yeah, well. Jim, I'm going to try to restrain myself somewhat, but I do agree with Layla. We don't always agree, but I have to say Layla's right on the money. Your show has definitely turned into the Jerry Springer Hour. And I got an idea for you, Jim. Why don't you take the last half hour, first hour, and let all the hateful Democrat callers call in on that second half hour of your first hour, and let all the Trump supporters call in on the first half hour of your second hour. So that way you can have a balance sheet. Let's have a balance sheet on this. Now listen, Jim, if you don't do something with this Bubba Scout imbecile, you just need to take his thumb out of his ass, and he needs to put a dirty diaper in that mouth of his, talking about anybody's relatives, Jim, wait a minute, Jim, hold on. This man's talking about other people's relatives, dead relatives and everything. That's disgusting. He's a disgrace. This guy goes around talking about Bubba's God of War. Odin's the God of War, you moron, and Thor. So shut your mouth, because you're an idiot. You're making your whole RBN network like jackasses, Jim. Now you need to get this guy off the air, because this guy's a piece of crap. He's garbage, talking about anybody from Florida. And I am Mr. Fabulous Flamboyant, if that's what he's signaling out. So I'll take the title, pal. Now you need to shut his mouth, stick a dirty, shitty-ass diaper in his mouth, because that's what he needs, because he's a creep. And he's talking about other callers. But you know what? This guy's going to end up having he's going to have an aneurysm, that bastard. That bastard. He's always using that word bastard. He's always calling out. Jim, how would you like it if he's calling out your relatives? Would you like that, Jim? Would you like me to talk about your relatives, Jim? Hello? Are you there, Jim?
I'm listening. Go ahead. Keep going.
You have this cretin calling your show talking about dead relatives of callers. The filth that comes out of that rat bastard's mouth is a disgrace. And he needs to shut his mouth. And he don't know nothing about war. He don't know nothing about crap. Bubba this, Bubba that. You better talk about Odin if you want to talk about the God of War. And Thor, moron. And to call out anybody on RBN who is a white man who defends our nationality, you should be ashamed of yourself, pal. You fool. And my family did go to war for this country for 175 years, buddy. What about yours? You didn't go to war, Bubba Scout. Why did you take your ass to Desert Storm, moron? You bag. Now, Jim, I'm going to tell you another thing. I'm getting fed up. And you've lost about 18 callers to your show because of all this bashing of Trump. A lot of your callers don't even want to call your show anymore because how this show has turned. You have Renee, ring-a-ding-ding, talking about Donald Trump's going to throw a parade for himself. My ass. And I got some information for Layla. Layla, I hate to say this, honey, but I can tell you right now, Donald Trump will probably be the next president on Mount Rushmore. Whether you like it or not, it might be 10, 20 years, but he will be on Mount Rushmore. And I'll tell you why. Jim. Donald Trump's the first guy in your lifetime that's talking about the $150 trillion that they stole from the American public, called it your American birthright, and the minerals that are under our feet that Donald Trump's trying to expose. And he wants to know where the gold is in Fort Knox. Where is the gold in Fort Knox? And how much money is in this private trust fund that they set up years ago, over 150 years ago, with all the mineral rights that everybody's entitled to in this country? What it adds up to $160 trillion. Trump's already talking right now to give everybody in this country a stimulus of, guess what, Jim? You hear how much it is? $58,000. Do you know that, Jim? And I'm going to get to this guy, Rick, in Arizona. I got family in Arizona. I got family all over Arizona. Prescott, Sedona, Goodyear. Tell you, Rick, about the George Zimmerman case, my friend, and Pam Bondi. You don't know what you're talking about, Rick. Okay, he was a security guard. I knew Trayvon's aunt. Okay? So let me tell you about this, Rick. He was a security guard, Zimmerman, and he tried to go off as he's a white guy. He's Hispanic. And that's why they made a case about it, because they were trying to cover it up because this Zimmerman was trying to say he's a white guy, when truthfully he was Hispanic. Okay? And that's why they let him off basically, because it was going to be a big incident, because they were trying to say, well, we don't know if he's white, is he Hispanic? Yes. Was Trayvon Martin wrong for what he did? Yeah, absolutely. But did he have to use deadly force on him? Hey, it already went down. He's dead. Trayvon's dead. Zimmerman walked. But Zimmerman's no angel, Jim. Believe me, this guy is no angel. And he tried to play himself off as a white guy when actually he's Hispanic. So this whole thing about Zimmerman being a little powder puff, lily white boy, that's all BS. And I can tell you another thing. What Layla's talking about, Layla, I understand. You make a lot of great points about the Jewish state of Israel. But guess what? I live in the United States. You live in Canada. You need to try to make your country better. The great state of Canada. The great country of Canada. It's not a state, but the country of Canada. Okay? So listen, Canada has their problems. The United States has their problems. But I can tell you one thing. I see the price of eggs come down. I see Donald Trump telling everybody go out for Easter and buy eggs. Melania's a full-blown Christian woman. Big time. She's utterly Christian. Melania Barron. So I don't want to hear about Donald Trump's wife is a Jew and Donald Trump's a Jew. His wife is so Christian you can You can't believe how Christian Melania and Barron Trump are. They go to Mass and everything. So this crap I hear about Donald Trump's a Zionist Jew, that's BS, man. His father, I looked up Donald Trump's grandfather. He wasn't no Jew. He came out of Germany, and the man was not Jewish. He was a Christian man, Jim, and so was his mother from Scotland. So say you on that, Jim.
Well,
Where's the Jew about that?
Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trump has a collection of awards from Tree of Life and a host of other Jewish organizations that are ordinarily only given to Jews. He's doing everything Israel wants. He's clamping down on criticism of Israel by expanding the definition of anti-Semitism after declaring for us he was going to uphold the Second Amendment. He's not doing it. He's continuing the slaughter of the Palestinians. He was supposed to be a man of peace. He was going to end these stupid wars. He hasn't done it. He's increased them. He's now attacking the Houthis, who are acting righteously by opposing Israel. They've declared war on Israel. They're only attacking Israeli ships. They quit attacking when Israel allowed food into Gaza, but now they've resumed. And he's threatening to attack Iran, which is the greatest peace-loving nation in the world. He's got a representative who's a nut job wanting to take away Iran's peaceful nuclear energy program. That's totally unacceptable. There's no reason in the world they should do that. He's appointed an anti-Semitism czar who's a Chabad Lubavitcher who doesn't even believe there was ever a Palestine. He denies the existence of Palestine. I don't know where you've been, Tom, but this guy has gone far over the edge. If he were consistent with his candidacy, I'd still be supporting him. But since he got in the Oval Office, he's been contradicting all the promises he's made, and I don't like it. And if I'm losing callers because they haven't caught up with the reality, so be it, Tom. I'm going to tell you how I see it and the way things are going down, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy with Trump.
Jim, listen, every president in your lifetime was kissing the ass of the Jews. Every one of them. Look at Barry Soetoro, Hussein Obama. Okay? And everybody thought, he was more for the Muslims. He was kissing more Jewish royal ass than anybody. Obama. I never heard anybody talk about Obama, what he was doing when he was in power as a president. All of them, Bush, they all were kissing it. What did Richard Nixon say, Jim? When he said that, they kicked him out of office. They made him resign. When Tricky Dick said, where all these Jews come from? After he said that statement, guess what? Watergate happened. Where did all the Jews come from? That was out of Nixon's mouth. Look it up.
Tom, we don't have any other president.
So you got to play a game with these people.
President taking $2 billion away from Harvard because they aren't happy with their allowing protests on the campus. I mean, it's just embarrassingly bad, Tom. I'm sorry. I have 35 years in higher education, and what's happening to the universities and colleges in this country is not just a disgrace, it's profoundly decadent. It's decaying in academic freedom of speech, student protests, which we ought to be applauding, not deploring.
Yeah. Now, Jim, what would you be talking about if Kamala Harris and Waltz would have won? What would your show be? Where would the direction of your show be right now? If the direction of your show was Kamala Harris and Tim Waltz, Tampon Tim, where would the direction of your show be? All these people would be calling how great Kamala's doing, bringing millions of illegals.
Of course not,
on the boys' bathroom.
Of course
come
not.
On, Jim.
Kamala was unacceptable. That doesn't mean Trump can get away with trashing the Constitution. In case you haven't noticed, he took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. He's not doing it, Tom. He's violating the Constitution. He's doing all these wars. He's not getting congressional support, and he's trashing freedom of speech. That, to me, is unacceptable.
Okay, I understand. I agree with that. But guess what? Can you imagine Kamala Harris and her husband in power right now, Jim?
Damn about Kamala Harris was a meaningless twit. Kamala Harris had nothing to offer the world. The Democrats were stuck with her. Pathetic. It was right to elect Trump.
That was the only option you had was voting for Donald Trump or not vote at all.
Trump got in on vote.
Either you don't vote or you vote for Trump.
Trump deserves to be elected over Harris Waltz regardless of his flaws. It's just they're so serious now. that it's got to be corrected. And if we need to move Vance up and Trump out, maybe that's the solution. Because he's violating his oath of office, Tom. He's violating his oath of office.
Well, remember what Carville said. It's all about the money. It's all about the economy, stupid. It's all about the money, Jim. That's what it's all about. And these Jews know, and everybody else knows it, and your callers know that. So guess what? You know what? You're stuck with Trump for the next 3 years. If he goes another term, I doubt that. I think J.D. Vance will take over because Trump doesn't need it. He's going to be too damn old. You're going to have to put up with J.D. Vance probably, hopefully, for 8 years. Maybe something will even get better with him. I don't know.
He can't serve a third. Where is this third term? He's arguing you can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. Is that his argument? So he could serve another term because he didn't. His first and second were not consecutive. Is that the argument, Tom?
Jim, I just said J.D. Vance will be the president in 4 years. I did not say Trump. I said I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's going to step away. He'll be too old to run. He's going to hand the reins over to J.D. Okay?
I agree.
That's what I said, Jim.
Tom, look.
Now, as far as that, Jim, I want you to acknowledge this before I get off this off your show, because I may not be calling in much longer anymore because what you've allowed with Bubba Scott Webb to talk about my relatives and anybody's relatives on your network on RBN, and Mike should ban him right now.
Honestly,
that guy's bringing him
I find it. I find it. Tom,
I tell you, you need to tell that guy to shut his stinking mouth. That white punk.
I find it very hard to figure out what Bubba Scott Webb is even saying.
You better ban that bastard.
I'm going to ponder what you're saying, Tom. I'm going to ponder this. I'm going to take it into account.
You know what? Country. What the hell?
Tom, thanks. Thanks, Tom. Thanks. Let's see who we got.
It's me.
Renee, come on. Renee.
No, it's Lauren from Ohio.
Oh, Lauren. All right, Lauren, go ahead. You're there.
Okay, I tell you what, I can hardly take screaming, frantic white men and men in general. Okay, it's just enough. And I'm telling you, I am with Tom on the Bubba Scott Webb. You let him go on and on. There's absolutely no action step you can take. There's no.
You want to know something, Lauren? I didn't have any other callers in there. I didn't have any other callers. So you want dead air, or I could go back to Colonel McGregor, but I didn't have anyone else here on the line. Nobody.
I have been sitting here for 40 minutes. I listened to Layla, then everybody through there, then Layla again, then Tom, and just the screaming. And come on, guys, why don't we just stop acting like 2-year-olds? Let's just talk about what's going on and what we can do about it. How about that? And that way, because he's saying he doesn't want to listen he's got to listen to Crazy Bubba, but I'm like, I can't listen to just frantic, just flailing, whining. It's just what's the point? What can you do with it? And you have such a fabulous platform. I don't know what's happened except that people are getting frantic. They're getting, and you should be. Okay, I'm not saying that that you don't have trouble coming your way, but here's the thing. And I'm going to agree with the caller that said they're killing the white people, Bubba. And they are. But you're allowing it. You're the one giving your child vaccines. Oh, oops, we went from 1 in 36 retarded children to 1 in 31 in 2022. 2020 to 136 to 2022 to 1 in 31. That's the new autism statistics. April is Autism Acceptance Month. I mean, are you kidding me? You're doing it to your own children. Why are you listening to these government creeps? Trump has no power. I don't care what he does. I don't care what the Congress does. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. I'm going to beat my children when they need it. I don't put them in school. Where does it tell you in the Word of God to put your children in the hands of pedophiles and Satanists and ignorant purple-haired trans baby killers? I mean, you're going to do that and then be all surprised that your kids don't understand they shouldn't kill their children and they might want to get married and make a future for themselves. But they don't even grasp it's all about fun. Well, if I have to take care of children, that's not fun. Oh, well, I'm going to kill this baby. I don't have time for this right now. I've got a trip to go. You know what I mean? It's great. I almost left my baby at home. I won our District 1 President's Club. and I was like a top salesperson that year. I was pregnant, and I had just had my baby, and I was going to leave him with my mother. And we actually drove to Cleveland so we could leave from there and leave the baby with my mother. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not leaving my baby anywhere. And I brought my baby with me. Got in a whole lot of trouble at work, too, because women aren't supposed to be women. They're men. Wearing your, man clothes, going out and doing the man's job because the men don't want to be men anymore. They want to take their Prozac. They want to tell you about their feelings. Well, those Russian soldiers, those brown skins, they're important from around the world. They aren't going to tell you about their feelings. They're going to tell you how they feel with a knife in your ass. Because that's who they are. That's who they're trained. You're putting soldier fish in with goldfish. And you, whining white people, are the guppies, the goldfish. And they're here to kill you. But you're doing the job for them. Your children have cell phones. What is your child doing with a private means of communications wherein he can look at the world? Any porn, any crazy anything. And then when your kid goes off and does some stupid thing, gets himself a record, gets himself in the system, and now you've lost your future because that child was the one that was going to take care of you when you were old. We take care of the children when they're young. They take care of us when they're old. That's the way the system's supposed to work. No, we want to do the broken thing. Put the kids in daycare. There's a business opportunity. Put the old people in nursing homes. There's a business opportunity. Oh, give them vaccines that make them sick. What do we have now? The new cancer epidemic? What did Big Al Borla from Pfizer, president of Pfizer, say? Cancer is the new COVID. Yeah, because they gave you AIDS, dude. That COVID shot, that glycoprotein 120 out of that mycoplasma created by Merck Sharp and Dohme, They gave you AIDS along with a host of other, degenerative diseases.
Lauren, I lost track of the time. I want to get Renee in here, too. I very much value what you were saying, okay? And I'll give you more time tomorrow. I want to bring in Renee. Renee, go ahead. Join us.
Oh, geez, where do I start here? It seems like the people who cut down other callers the most, when they get back a dose of their own medicine, they lose their frickin' mind. And are given the most airtime to go on and on attacking any and every other caller. It's like, but when they do it the worst and first. So, oh, Jesus Christ. So the thing is, I actually liked Bubba's rant. I thought it was pretty good today. But, it's like, since I have one, I try not to do this, but it's like, I think there are a lot of people on here who are sincerely concerned about their country, okay? And we're worried and we're fearful and all kind of stuff. But since other people were piling on a certain person, I do not think this is the appropriate forum for a person to continually call in to kind of like it's some kind of little boy's locker room where, he has to come in and boast to the other boys of what a stud he is about how many good-looking women he's been with, okay? I find that inappropriate and immature. So that's the only time I'm saying it, but it's like, gee, come on, people. It's like, this is embarrassing to watch a lot of people's behavior. And let me tell you something right now. The way things have gone down, it's like there was I am very concerned about this due process thing, okay? Yeah. And they always try to pick off the weakest first. We used to have a saying in the Patriot movement. It was from an old saying. It goes like, first they came for the socialists, and I was not a socialist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I was not a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. And it goes down the list, and it says, and then they came for me, and there was no one to speak up for me. And I see that going on right now. The thing is, I don't care if it's Garcia and the other immigrants or if it's Gaza. You have to realize they pick off the trans and homosexuals. They go after the ones they think, well, people won't care too much about these people. They start with those people, but they work their way up to you. You have to get that through your thick heads. because let me tell you, people talk about how they care about you. Well, Professor Fetzer, you stepped on a few toes in your lifetime. And we know how rotten the legal system is, but it's better than nothing. What if because you stepped on toes, all these people, and this is all the people you claim you care about them, but if you don't care about due process, someone that could decide, I'm going to make a charge against Professor Fetzer, and we're just going to disappear him in the middle of the night and send him to a prison in El Salvador. Would that be okay with them then if it was you, the person they supposedly care about? The thing is, people, I'm telling you, you people who don't care, like you say, and Garcia, there may have been some spousal abuse. I'm not saying he's a perfect person, but, there's a lot of spousal abuse that goes on in this country, but they don't send you to a prison in El Salvador, okay? So the thing is, people better remember, we have to protect due process, and it is President Trump right now and that little AG Bitch Condi, they are destroying due process. Get your heads right, people. I hear the music.
Renee. Thanks, Renee. You and Lauren were wonderful. Breath of fresh air. Thank you both and everyone. Spend as much time as you can with your family, your friends, the people you love and care about, because we do not know how much time we have left. It may be less than we want, but use it wisely. Support RBN and join us back here tomorrow.